get us started here. Take any questions you have. Got a great challenge this week. Great football team coming in here. It'll be fun to play, Monday Night Football night game at our stadium, and hopefully be able to get our first win at home this year. So looking forward to that challenge, but can take any questions you have.
What did you learn about your offense against the Bears without Justin Fields since he's been healthy for so long?
Yeah, he has been healthy for a long time. Yeah, I think we didn't run a ton of plays, didn't have a huge sample size, but I think, as we said last week going into the game, just the importance of a lot of people contributing and a lot of people bringing their abilities to the table. And I think that showed with how much we ran the football, leaned on Alex, leaned on Cam. It was a variety of offense, variety of guys we were distributing the football to, so I would think that'll continue.
Kyle Shanahan's always spoken so highly of you and vice versa. What is it about the connection you guys had when you were in Washington that kind of has stayed with you there?
Yeah, he was a big reason I got drafted there, I think, and was fortunate enough to get to work with him for 2 years. His coach Mike Shanahan, the head coach there when I was drafted there, has really been a mentor for me and somebody that I've always gone to for wisdom and counsel, and the same for Kyle and Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay and a lot of those guys, Mike McDaniel, that were in that staff that I just have a lot of respect for and enjoyed working with. And it was a positive 2 years for me, kind of learning the league, and we've all kind of followed each other, I think, ever since then, and that's kind of where it's been.
When he left, did you ever think that you would one day get reunited with him on the same team?
Man, when he left, I mean, we had just gone 3-13. Yeah. I had played the last 3 games. We went 0-3. Yeah. I mean, we were all kind of just in disbelief about where we were, and so it's been amazing to see kind of where everybody's paths have gone since then. And it's been a great lesson to me that tough times don't last, tough people do. And that was something that Coach Mike Shanahan always said, and I've learned to believe in strongly. So we didn't know what to expect back then, but you kind of believe that the cream rises to the top in time, and I think that's proven true in the case of a lot of those coaches.
Kirk, whether it's Mike Shanahan or I guess some of the other guys, probably harder with the guys that are coaching in the league still, but how much do you still get a chance to talk to those guys and catch up with the people on that staff?
I don't intersect with the coaches as much, I think, because it's illegal.
Yeah.
So I don't really talk to the ones that are on the other teams. Obviously, you shake their hands pregame, postgame, whatever it may be. Clint Kubiak's on the staff with the Niners, and he's a coach I spent a lot of time with, more time with him than any of the guys I've mentioned previously. So you certainly have that, but you try to keep the connections to a minimum outside of that, just to be above bar. But when I'm done playing, I expect to see, reach out to those guys a lot.
But like with Mike, do you get a chance to talk to him?
Yeah, Mike would probably be the one I can talk to more. It's still not a lot, but it's whenever something comes up, I think it's a really, really strong resource that I'd be foolish not to bend his ear.
What has made the 49ers pass rush essentially so good the last few years?
I mean, I always say it's kind of a combination of great players and great scheme. When you marry the two, you can get a great outcome. So I think that's kind of the way they've built it, and it's worked well for them.
Kirk, what are some of the keys to what has been able to Purdy to play as well as he has, as quickly as he has?
I haven't studied it much. I mean, I'm watching it on Sunday Night Football when I get home from a game, and it's kind of one eye on it and one eye on my boys playing. But I would think it's the same reasons quarterbacks play well. You got to be a great decision maker. You got to be accurate with the football. You got to have great command. You got to be able to manage the game well, and forget all the other things you do or all the other abilities you have. If you don't do those things, accuracy, game managing, great decision making, good command, the other traits don't really matter as much. And so I think that anybody who plays well, including Brock, is really doing a good job of those initial traits.
Kirk, has there been talk that, listen, no team is infallible, obviously. They lost. This could be a turning point for our team. Catch lightning in a bottle, beat them. How much weight do you put on something like that?
I think our talk is always just about 1-0 that week. and you don't really think about, bigger stories beyond that. Just how do we get a win this week, and try to keep it really simple, and not really look back, not really look too far forward, and just focus on how do we get the win this week against a really good football team.
And Kirk, when defenses can move pass rushers everywhere, what's still the value of having a good left tackle? Somebody that on the blind side.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a fact as a righty quarterback that you're probably going to sense your right side a little bit more than your left. So there's obviously a lot of value in that factor. Yeah, and I think that left tackles, will always be, if you have a really good tackle, you're going to try to get him on the left. I think sometimes just the way it may work out, if you already have one, guy gets comfortable on the right, he's going to stay on the right. But for the most part, if you feel like you got the guy for the long haul, you try to put him on the left. And, it's kind of always a position that, a lot of responsibility and then a lot of respect, too, that goes with playing left tackle because of how challenging it can be. Yeah, it's a good thing, right? Yeah. Yeah, well, like even in walkthrough, Garrett's pretty talkative. Brian's always going to let his opinions be known, all in positive ways. And maybe I just sense the guards more because they're right in front of me. But CD's the one that you kind of sometimes you forget he's there because he's just quiet, goes about his business. And if he does talk, you better listen. You got something to say. Yeah, it's a great thing when he can just lock down his position, do his job, and get to the end of the game, and you didn't even notice. That's a good thing.
Kirk, do you enjoy playing Monday night more than your classic Sunday games? Who likes to do this knowing it's on the national stage?
Yeah, I think there'll be great energy at US Bank on Monday night. I think that every game has energy, but certain ones tend to, you feel it more in warm-ups, you feel it more early. I thought that the Chiefs game had a lot of energy, and I think the Monday night game against the Niners will be no different.
Kirk, Michigan State, Michigan this week.
Yeah.
What do you remember about the rivalry? And
Yeah.
how much pride do you take in your 3-0 start?
Yeah, it's a great rivalry. It's very personal. When you grow up in the state, it means a lot to you, and I plan to probably spend a lot of time in the state when I retire from football, so it'll be very personal then too. And Coach D'Antonio used to always say that, when you win that game, you walk the streets for the next year, and when you lose that game, you walk the alleys. And so I always said, once the 3 games I got to play in against him, because we won all 3, I said for the rest of my life, I'll be walking the streets in my hometown. I'm not going to be walking the alleys. I don't care what happens from here on out. I played in 3 of them, won 3 of them. I'm going to walk the streets. So if you come to Holland in about 2030, you'll see me on 8th Street with my green and white on in downtown Holland. Yeah.
You plan to celebrate National Tight End Day on Sunday?
Is that Sunday? We probably do need to do something. So thanks for the reminder. I'll have to give some thought to that, and I'm sure George Kittle has something planned too for his tight ends. If anybody's going to enjoy that day, it'd be him. So I'll have to ask Hawk and Kittle what they got going.
Why do you think Iowa has become kind of a tight end factory?
It's a good question. I don't know that I have a great answer. I think certainly the scheme probably coaches tight ends to be more familiar with what they're going to be asked to do at the pro level. I think sometimes tight ends in certain offenses are just receivers, and they get to the pro level and it's like, whoa, I gotta know how to block this and that, and on the fly change my rules to this or that. And so I would guess the guys at Iowa come a little bit more, or are as pro ready as a tight end's going to be from any scheme in college football. And I think they learn to block really well, and then ultimately it probably comes down to the athlete and the player, and they must be finding some really good athletes wherever they're finding them. Alrighty, thanks guys. Yeah.
What's up, guys? How are we doing? Great. Excited for National Tight End Day?
How are you going to celebrate?
Oh, I got some family coming in. We got some T-shirts made up, so we're pretty excited. It'll be a good one. Yeah. Well, yeah, a couple of us tights designed them, and then we got them all for the room. So they're definitely a surprise, but it'll be fun when we got them. And we got them for the coaches too, so we got them involved a little bit. Our head guy, our tight ends coach, so he's got a word on the sleeve that he always uses, so that'll be on there as well.
Just your relationship with George, I know goes back to your Iowa days. What did he mean to you there, and how much was he helping you getting where you are now?
Yeah, obviously, George was a big part of my career at Iowa, and then he was a senior when I was a freshman, just kind of taught me the ropes, was able to learn from him and then a lot of the different guys there, because he was there with Hank, Henry Kruger-Kobel, and some other guys that played well throughout the league, and so he learned from them, and then to be able to be there when I was a freshman and I redshirted, so I really just watched him and watched what he was able to do on the field, and then when he got to the league, I was only 2 years behind him, so that was it was kind of wild. So I'm going to year 5. I think he's in year 7. So it's with us being 4 years apart, really in college, I was able to move down to Nashville after my rookie year and train with those guys. I mean, there's a bunch of tight ends now that are in Nashville, and we've kind of made it just our home, and have really good training guys, Josh Colbert and our athlete, our speed guy, Jeremy Holt. So those guys are incredible, and we just keep rolling and just keep growing together. I mean, every year we try to get better, and so there's really not an off season that we just take off, which is fun. So it's fun to get around those guys and push each other.
TJ, I know you guys take it one game at a time, but to beat a team like San Francisco that's not infallible, as we know, what can that do for this team to string two together and beat a team like that going forward?
I mean, it'd be, that's the kind of the plan. It'd be a blast. I mean, we're just very excited in this locker room. I mean, guys, you get an opportunity like this on Monday Night Football. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And like the 49ers, who, have showed that they're one of the top teams in this league. Just to be able to go out there, compete with them, and pull one out would be amazing. I mean, that's our plan every week, is to win games, and so to have that. And to go 2 in a row and then just keep rolling from there. Because listen, I mean, everyone outside of this building, there's a lot of disbelief, but in here there's none of that. We all believe we have what we can do in this locker room, and we believe that there's guys in here that we can go win with. So.
With that said, what did you learn from your offense in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ebbs and flows for sure. I mean, in the third and fourth quarter, we started to run the ball, and that's something that we need to be able to do. I mean, we just be able to run the ball, and we're up at that point, I think 19-6, and so to be able to run the ball and kind of chew clock in those circumstances, those are things that we just need to be able to move the ball and get first downs and continue to because after we get our first down, there's no one that can really stop it. I mean, that's just one of those things that once we get our first one, then it's just us, and really that's the case. That's been the case throughout the season. Is once you get our first one, then we're ready to roll, But it's the fact in getting our first down that's huge for us. So.
TJ, what are you most looking forward to in the Monday Night Football? Night game is the being on the national stage. What are you most excited about?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in here likes playing under the lights. I mean, that's kind of when you get to show everybody. I mean, we're the only game on, so it's that's always just a blast to be able to have the whole country watching you and play under the lights and really perform. So I think that's just always kind of gives you a little extra juice to go out there and play. So I think we're all super excited about that and to have that opportunity.
TJ, what do you think it is that sets Iowa apart in being able to turn out as many tight ends as they have in recent years?
Yeah, go Hawks. It's just one of those places, that really develop you. I mean, I wasn't really a star when I came out. I mean, once I got an offer from Iowa State is when I think I got to 2 stars. And that was my junior year, and then I just kind of held out. I knew I wanted to go to Iowa and sat with the Iowa State offer for a long time and just waited on my Iowa one, and it took to my senior year to get that, and so it was a blessing for me to be able to go there, be part of that. But I think those guys, they just get guys that really love the game, I mean, and really want to go to work, I mean, because I was a pass catching tight end in high school, and then when I went to college, I learned how to block, and learned leverages, and it was an outside zone scheme, so you could run off the ball and run through guys, and it was more of that than the duos and all that stuff in the league, So it just really gets you prepared for this league and gets you ready to go because, there's not many schools that teach you to run off the ball like Iowa does, and to go attack players, you know. So that's that was a big thing for me in college, was just to learn that. And then I played true Y, you know, and so I think it's just one of those places that, you know, they rely on the tight ends. They run behind them. You know, they throw the ball in play actions, and it's a true huddle, you know. I mean, it's not like the spread offense where you're looking to the sideline and getting plays from there, and one word means everybody's job. It's hey, we're going to go I right, 36 boss, you know, like stuff like that, where you're deciphering through the plays, and you actually have formations, and you have to go through all that, and that really helped me propel me into the league. So.
The national thing, what made that blow up? Like, what is it about those guys that came like this really helped?
I think it's a fun city, you know, to be in the first place, and then you know, to be part of a group of guys that you just know, you know, and you can rely on, that they're going to be there every day to work, and you know, and more guys keep coming down, and I think it's truly a credit to all the people that we have down there. You know, I mean, we have PTs, we have speed guys, we have strength guys, we bounce from one guy to another, and they're all communicating, and it's all very organized, and it's one of those things. It's kind of like being in a facility like this. I mean, obviously not this nice, but like to have guys that are communicating, to have a program that you're going through, and to have guys that you rely on every day to be there and press you, you know, that's huge. So I think it's just the environment that we set down there that's really made us keep going, you know.
Was George always as outgoing and funny in college, or does he get more so as the success he's had in the league?
No, he was always like that. I mean, George was in the back of the room when I was a freshman, nitpicking me, like, you know, saying stuff in the back, like just in my ear the whole time. And he's just one of those people that, you know, he feeds off of going and doing things, you know, like social environments. He feeds off that, and he can keep going. You know, when he sits by himself, I think is when he has an issue, you know. So he's just one of those guys that you just love to be around. I mean, he's always has to be doing something. He's just he's very into it, you know, and very vocal and communicative, and just a great guy, you know. I mean, that's the biggest part about all of us down there, is we're just good people, and we just love each other, and you know, that's you see that, you know, with the people you are once you get to know us, and it's just a good environment for sure.
Were you watching that Sunday night game when he announced himself as tight end?
Yeah, it started out as a joke. Yeah, he was mic'd up, and he was like, yeah, it's National Tight End Day. You know, he started telling everybody, and he's like, yeah, it started out as a joke, and then it kind of caught on, which is fun. So, I mean, it's just great to be able to showcase what we do, because we do a lot in this as a tight end in this position. You have to know everything. I mean, you got to know really what the quarterback knows besides protections, and even those, you have to know a lot of those, you know, because there's just so many cans, so many motions, so many pass concepts, so many runs that we have to know and do things. So it's nice to be able to showcase that, because you know, we a lot of the time the tight end position doesn't get love. So to have that is just a cool thing.
Was it always Iowa for you, or did the fact that they had so much success with the tight end position lead to you wanting to?
My parents went to Iowa State, so they kind of tried to press me in that position. But when I was growing up, my brothers were Iowa fans. They went to Iowa, so I kind of grew up, and my brothers started, you know, buying me Hawkeye stuff and pressing me towards that. And so I kind of knew at a young age that that's where I wanted to go. I was watching, you know, all those guys, you know, Dallas Clark back in the 2000s, and I wasn't very old, you know, and then watching him into the league. And then, you know, there's just guys like that. They have such a great culture, and KF has been there for so long. So it was just a super easy decision for me at the time, you know. And like I say, I wasn't a big recruit, but I think even if I was, I would have went to the University of Iowa, just because that's home for me. You know, the Midwest is home, and that's why I love it here, and I loved it at Iowa. Yeah, it's at Iowa, right? Night game? 2:30. Okay, yeah. Kinnick's a tough place to play, so you know, I mean, yeah, I'll be watching it for sure. When I was playing Minnesota, we never quite lost that game, so we kept taking Floyd home. So you know, we'll see what happens. Thanks, guys.